right now, 15 U.S. states are on high alert because of a war that is happening abroad, but everything is coming here to our home front. I'll explain what's going on because right now there are millions of people around the world that are concerned with this, but there are millions of people right here in the United States that will be impacted. And even Congress, the United States Senate, is concerned. I'll explain more on that in just a moment, but understand, 15 states are on high alert. Here's the reason why. Look at this. It says Trump says he authorized CIA in Venezuela as Maduro says no to a regime change. Now, what does this have anything to do with us right here in the U.S.? Is Nicolas Maduro, is he going to attack the United States and send his troops to the U.S.? The answer is no. According to reports, the people that could hurt us are already here. The people that are potentially going to cause us harm are Tren de Aragua gang members. This is a prison gang from Venezuela, which during the Biden administration, they were pretty much released from Venezuela, and many of them made their way into the United States because of our open borders. Well, now it's coming back to haunt us. But look at this. This is one of the reasons why many lawmakers are pushing back against President Trump, because right now he is striking boats on their way to the United States. He's shooting them out of the water, completely blowing them up. And previously there were 4 boats shot out of the water. Everybody on that boat, passed away. The 5th boat, which just happened this past week, there were survivors. And according to President Trump, we are going to send those survivors to Colombia and to Ecuador, not to Venezuela, to Colombia and to Ecuador. He says that's where they're going. But this is why it's a big deal. And look at this. It says senators will force a vote to prevent war on Venezuela without approval from Congress. So what the Senate is going to vote on is that if the United States goes to war with Venezuela, Congress has to approve it first. President Trump can't just go and do all these things and start a war. That's what we learned the other day. But here's the problem. Look at this. It says Venezuela mobilizes troops and militia amid U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean. Now, what we know, and we've been learning about this for quite some time, there's satellite photos that show the United States is beefing up our military presence. Look at the date on this. This is September 17th. That's more than a month ago. So we have been knowing what's going to happen for more than a month. Okay? This is huge. This is absolutely huge that we are seeing a military buildup closer to Venezuela. It's pretty much happening in Puerto Rico, where according to reports, we have over 10,000 U.S. troops ready to go to battle. We have ample Navy ships right there. We have drones. We have fighter jets. Everything is in position if we wanted to strike. But that's why what President Trump just said this past week, that he has authorized the CIA in Venezuela. According to reports out this morning, they are saying that what the Trump administration has done is pretty much open the door and allow these CIA operatives to feed us information as to where some of these drug houses are, some of these stash houses, and ensure that we hit the right targets, according to reports. But here's the problem. The United States is a sitting duck. Essentially, the American people are sitting ducks because of Tren de Aragua. Okay? That's the key here. What we've learned is that Tren de Aragua is already in the U.S. Here are some of the cities and states. First off, New York, New York. That is one of the hubs for Tren de Aragua. And we've been hearing about this for several years. This really happened, I think, in like 2023. Okay, it's been like 2022 or 2023. That was when we really started to get reports that Tren de Aragua members were showing up in Denver, Colorado, Chicago, Illinois, Nashville, Tennessee, Miami, Florida, New York, New York. In New York, what was happening is people were riding around on scooters and motorcycles, snatching bags off women, yanking a phone that you're holding up onto your head to talk to somebody. They'd come up, grab it, and drive off. This is what we're seeing. When you leave a department store, you'd see a motorcycle just driving by, and all of a sudden, they grab it, and off they go. And according to reports, what was happening is they were selling these items, the stolen phones, stolen goods. They were selling that stuff on the street in order to make money, which they can go and pay people to do their dirty work. That's what we learned. So here are some of the cities, okay? First off, New York City, Chicago, Illinois, Miami, Florida, Aurora, Colorado, Denver, Colorado, Nashville, Tennessee, Houston, and El Paso, Texas, and then some other states. Okay, these are some of the other states that have been reportedly their suspected crimes by Tren de Aragua members. First off, California, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, New Jersey, North Carolina, Virginia, and Wisconsin. Those are the states that we've been hearing about. Now, why does this matter? Well, this matters because the United States looks like we are mobilizing. We're ready to attack. All we're waiting on is that go ahead. But what could be pushing the United States back or pushing President Trump back, taking him off that edge, is the fact that senators want to vote on this. They want to vote to ensure that that President Trump does not push us into a war without an approval from Congress. And right now, the United States government is shut down. They are struggling to come to an agreement on opening up our government as a result of healthcare subsidies. So people talking about, well, they're going to vote for this and President Trump will not take us to war. President Trump doesn't want to go to war, but he wants to ensure that the region is stabilized. Here's what we know. First off, how is this conflict going to play out? Some people are saying, well, U.S. troops are going to go to Venezuela. We'll put boots on the ground. That's not really the way it's going to work. According to reports, that is one of the least likely ways. They say a large-scale ground invasion or occupation is one of the least likely in the near term. They say a full land invasion in Venezuela does not make sense. It's extremely costly, militarily, politically as well, and diplomatically. It would be costly for President Trump. They say Venezuela has significant air defenses, which was supplied by Russia, so thanks Russia, and the terrain in Venezuela would complicate this invasion. So a large-scale ground attack or invasion is not going to happen. The United States would have to get in there first to figure it out. That's why they say the most likely option is an air or sea strike. We're already doing this on boats that are going from Venezuela to the United States. So it wouldn't be that much more difficult to just enhance it and extend it a little bit. That's what they're saying. So we could see cruise missiles, drones, manned aircraft, whatever. But an air attack is the most likely option. Now, one of the questions I know I'm going to get, because I've been getting it quite a bit on other videos, need to answer it, is how would the United States benefit from a regime change to Venezuela? Well, that's where things get interesting. It depends. Okay? Now, I've written some notes down here, but here's the thing. It would really depend on how the United States goes about this regime change. If it's forced on Nicolas Maduro, it could be rather, well, uncomfortable. It could take a little bit. It could be somewhat problematic for the United States. But they say the benefits to the United States are as follows. First off, improved democracy. Simple. Reduce corruption and illicit finance. Okay. It would counter narcotics. That's a huge one, according to President Trump. Okay. The commercial opportunities behind everything that's going on. And according to President Trump just the other day, he said Nicolas Maduro is offering all their resources, gold, they're offering oil, they're offering so much stuff. Their natural resources in Venezuela, which, keep in mind, Venezuela has the largest oil reserve in the entire world. Okay, like 300 billion barrels. That's what's reportedly in their soil. So that's huge. Here's the other one. Okay, the problem with doing this is it's going to cause a regime change. Could create chaos for not just the region, but a lot of the world as well. And so that's one of the things that the Trump administration wants to avoid. That, and potentially any economic or political backlash from some of their allies and obviously people in South America. So we'll see what happens. But here's what you need to understand. Right now, the United States, or many officials throughout the U.S., are warning people in the cities and states that I talked about to be on the lookout, because if Tren de Aragua is starting to establish themselves in these cities, that's extremely problematic. And that's one of the reasons why the Trump administration is going around in a lot of these cities. And they're trying to arrest those and deport people that should not be here. Unfortunately, it's also pulling in many citizens and just residents of these cities as well. But they say that's kind of the cost of doing business, to get rid of the bad actors. So we'll see what happens moving forward, but that's what we know as of right now. As this war continues from Venezuela to the United States, the American people could be in harm's way. So just protect yourself and be ready, because again, Tren de Aragua is out there and they don't want to go back to Venezuela.